This is Michele Livingston, who is an amazing talent. I mean, a woman who's called a visionary and a medium, and someone who has this amazing gift, who is there to help people through their challenges and the difficulties and the uncertainty of what we're feeling. You're there. You're doing that anyway, but I think this is a time particularly when people are very vulnerable right now. Some of the books that you have written, you've talked about Messages from Beyond as a spiritual guidebook. Another one, Miraculous Encounters, True Stories and Experience with Angels and Departed Loved Ones. And the True Nature of Love, Awakening to the Christ Consciousness. So you're very spiritual in your approach, and you also have the ability to talk to the other side.
Yes,
and I know that's intriguing to a lot of people, because this is a way to help people heal when they are trying to search for meaning and answers after loved ones have just gone, crossed over.
Yes.
And I want to ask a little bit about you, about how you make this all work in a way that makes sense for people and becomes more of a mainstream dialogue, as opposed to being something out there.
Basically, I started as a teacher. So I have a master's degree in art education.
Wonderful.
And I started as an artist. So I'm a visionary with that. And the visionary within me helps me to see through the realms, actually. My work is very comforting and healing. I've been doing that work for about 20 years.
Wow.
And people today are searching, not just with the economic situation, Uma, but with the fear-based news. And so they come to me for a number of different reasons. Some people really want to understand why they're on the earth plane. What is their mission? And I say, go back to childhood and find out what you love to do as a child, because we all have a beautiful inner child. I heard you a while ago talking about your daughter. And children in the formative years can tap into the other realms. They actually can communicate and feel and see the beauty of the world. And many adults tend to squelch the inner child. So I always tell them,
they shut it down.
Yes.
This is not so far apart. I just did a special called Secrets of Success, and we talked about, we looked at high-profile individuals and their pathways, the challenges they had to overcome. But much of what you're discussing, I know, ties in very nicely with that in terms of what does it take to be a success. And one of the things, of course, is to follow your dreams and to tap into that part of yourself that you may have, put in the back burner for a while.
Exactly.
And if you're trying to reinvent yourself or think outside the box, and at a time where you might have lost your job or there's anxiety about paying your mortgage and all, what can you do to make your life feel more calm and stable? The advice is don't lose your equilibrium.
Exactly.
That no matter what's happening externally, you have the power to control what's going on with you.
Yes.
You have the choices that you can make.
And that's very good, too. I believe in meditation. I believe in prayer. I'm an advocate of both. And I feel that meditation is stilling the mind and going within oneself. And there are many ways to approach an ultimate goal, many paths, many ways to approach a goal. Actually, meditation to me is stilling, but prayer. And I want to say I'm an advocate. There is tremendous power in it. And thought plus energy equals form. And in my one book, there's a section on conscious manifestation, that we attract basically, as you know, what we think.
This is about law of attraction.
Yes, to a point.
To a point. Why do you say to a point?
Well, to a point. Sometimes I put my spiritual spin on it. I break it down into positive affirmations. I believe in affirmations. I believe in guarding thoughts and being aware. And it's difficult in today's world, on a moment-by-moment basis, to be aware of our feelings and our motivations. But the bottom line is we are here for a purpose, for a reason. Each one of us, basically, is on a mission. Some are creative. Some are here to serve, when I say that, humanity. And so, basically, to answer your question, it's a matter of focus. It's a matter of being aware of our thoughts and intentions, and actually motivations,
It sounds very simple, but I think for a lot of people it's very difficult, because when you are bombarded with uncertainty around you, and you have bills to pay, and you have children to put through school, and you don't know where your next paycheck's going to come from, how do you take those negative externals and are able to calm your mind in a way that makes sense? It's to say, I'm not going to give in to the fear. What do you advise people about things like that?
Well,
I know there's a lot to say.
I'm also an advocate of faith, too.
Yes.
So I would say, walk by your faith. I would say, stand your ground or sit, depending on what you want to do. Think about who you are as an individual. Many of us are caught up in this world where we're bombarded with different vibrations, different energies coming in, and sometimes we lose ourselves in the shuffle. Who we truly are innately, is what I'm trying to say, inside. So if we sit and think about it, and I know you're right, it is easier said than done, but if we can sit and think about what is my purpose in the bigger scheme of things, not as we are amongst the crowd, but if we can, through meditation, rise above and get a different spin on who we truly are, I think it brings peace. I think it brings inner peace and calm, and I think we all need that in today's world.
And when you talk about meditation, you're talking about, I'm sure, just start out, a few minutes a day, and it's nothing that requires you to feel like you're not being true to your own faith. It's about your own quiet prayer, and to still the mind.
Absolutely, positively,
and that helps bring the focus and the clarity.
Yes, it does,
because you hear inner voice within yourself.
It's a still inner voice. It's the intuition. And also, I bring a lot of comfort. I am a clairvoyant. I am a medium to parents who have lost children. I work with Compassionate Friends, the national organization. And many times, people need hope and comfort, especially when we love someone with all our hearts. If we lose them, we aren't taught where they are. Where does the light body or the soul go? So what I help people do is get in contact with love never dies. You're not alone. I'm helping to bring you comfort and hope, and that's basically why I do the work. Love never dies. That's basically it.
You're doing it because you feel like you're making a difference and connecting with people in a very meaningful way.
Yes, absolutely.
And when you do talk to give us a sort of, you can walk us through a little bit about this. When a person does cross over into that light, what is that journey like? What is it that you try to explain to people where the soul goes?
Okay, great question. We're in the third dimension, our physical world. The departed loved ones are in the fourth dimension. It's a higher and faster frequency. So basically, you've heard about the near-death experience, Uma, where we're on the operating table and above our bodies, going through to the light. Our belief systems take us through to the other side. So it doesn't matter what religious affiliation we believe in, what we believe in we create. I believe we go through a life review. I don't think we're judged by an angry creator. I think that we go through a life review where we objectively look at our lives, see who we've hurt possibly or abused, and fleetingly feel their emotional distress. And I think that helps us to learn compassion, kind of puts the shoe on the other foot, so to speak. Then I really feel, since the soul is eternal, we can regroup. We can further studies. So there's so many things to do in the next dimension, and people want to know, well, where is my daughter? Where is my son? Where is my spouse? First of all, I see spirit very plainly, just like I'm looking at you. I remember the first time I saw an individual, I'm a Penn State graduate, and I was back at my alma mater doing a conference. I looked up. There was a gentleman there from spirit, and basically he telepathically said, I'm John. Grandpa put up 4 fingers, and I'm thinking, what's going on? And I asked the lady if she knew a John, and yes, it was her grandfather, and yes, she had 4 daughters. So he proceeded to talk about the 4 girls in detail. That was 20 years ago. Now, I love the way they work with me because I have about 250 frames of reference. When I say that, they'll give me pictures, symbols, hand gestures to lead me to say something to the person.
So you see the guides and the angels and the guardians and maybe departed loved ones, the soul, the energies around individuals.
Yes.
And that is of comfort, I'm sure, to people who are going through some challenges, or if they're really concerned about missing them.
And when I started the work 20 years ago, this was not as open as it is today.
That's what I think is really great today in our society. This has become much more of a mainstream dialogue. People are much more open to it than ever before. I think there's been a shift in consciousness in our society today. I really do.
I do too.
And people are. The time is now. People are ready to receive this information. And whereas maybe even 5 years ago, it was thought of as a sort of new age jargon, that type of thing. It was dismissed as being put into another category that we really didn't talk about that much.
And people innately have a fear of the unknown.
Yes.
People do not like change, let's face it. So they want to know what is beyond. And that's why Messages from Beyond is a very good book.
What kind of messages did you receive, for example, from the other side?
Well, the conscious manifestation, we attract what we think. what happens to women that lose children through miscarriage, through stillborn?
That's a very interesting question. Is that a soul that just continues on the path?
Yes, a soul, yes. I really feel, chooses its parents to learn and grow with, as your daughter would have chosen you. And if for any reason we change our mind, we retract from the mother's energy field, and that is a miscarriage. A stillborn is to the point of full development, and as we leave with a near-death experience, we're coming in the same way into the delivery room. And at that point, we can say, should I continue in my life path, or should I decide to step away? And that's a stillborn. So this book is so packed with information on any single subject with the spirit realms.
Tell me, what do you tell parents who do lose children? Do you say that they will, do you believe that you are one day all going to be together again after you pass on?
Oh, absolutely.
You'll be reunited with your loved ones?
Oh, absolutely. And there's a beautiful thing you can do for someone who is very ill and lingering, and that's to help them actually walk through the tunnel to the light, to the heavenly realms, which I've helped people do. I've taught them how to do that. So
it would be so amazingly rewarding for you and gratifying to know that you can be of service this way.
And we all are of service in different ways, but this just happens to be my way. And actually, my great-grandmother was a clairvoyant and a very plain lady, religious, very plain.
Let me ask you about what we're going through right now in this country. What do you think? How long do you think this period of unsettled times and anxiety is going to continue?
I think it will continue for some time, and I possibly want to say maybe at least 18 months till we can regroup and get a deep breath. And I actually thought it was going to shift a little bit in the May towards this month time period. But as we do create our reality, I think as a mass consciousness, globally or even within this national realm of our country, thought again is power. And I think that, isn't that true?
Yes.
And I think being self-empowered is what it's all about too. Helping your fellow man, but also having the empowerment within.
In spite of all this, the bad news that is attached to this. I mean, I don't think anything. I think things don't happen without a reason. I think there's no accidents. But at the same time, when people are trying to deal with all this stuff, I think there's also an opportunity here where people are, we've heard the stories where people are going back to their families, reconnecting with loved ones, being able to take a look at what's really important, the values in our lives, as opposed to necessarily material goods and buying the latest outfit to having more dinners at home, for example.
Absolutely.
Is that a shift that you feel is going to continue here, and is something that was meant to be?
Yes, and that's a good question.
What effect is that going to have on our society down the road, do you think, in America?
I think we're going to band together. And I think since I'm the baby boomer, in the 1950s and 60s, people were close at that point. And then we've grown apart. But I think really, Uma, down the road, I can see a lot of hope for society and people insofar as values go. And I think the root of it all, really family values, how we feel about each other, and not just family, but extending it to the world, actually.
I think I agree with you.
To our fellow man.
So that's a very positive outcome.
Yes.
We are unfortunately out of time, but I want to have you come back, and we can answer next time. What we do, we'll open it up to the audience and ask. You guys can ask her questions, and we'll talk more about what she sees, and perhaps if you've lost a loved one and you want to connect and know how they're doing on the other side, or any kind of concerns you might have, it would be great to have you come back for a longer session.
I'd love to.
Remember, the book is called Messages from Beyond. It's a spiritual guidebook. Michele Livingston. She's written several books.
Yes.
And The True Nature of Love, The Awakening of the Christ Consciousness, Miraculous Encounters, True Stories of Experiences with Angels and Departed Loved Ones, along with Echoes in the Wind about the Native Americans, which I just think is amazing. That's a whole other
whole other show.
Which is fantastic.
And actually, I'm not Catholic, but I believe in the goddess, the mother, feminine divine energy.
Well, Michele, you're wonderful, and I really, really think it's great that you've been out there to help people and really help them heal and connect with them in a very special way.
And that's what it's about.
That's what it's about.
Each time around.
Perfect.
Thank you
very
so much.
We'll have her come back. And in the meantime, I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Remember, I'll be back tomorrow with more Strategy Room, and we hope wherever you are, you're having a fantastic day. Take care. Bye-bye.